Jayden, what really stood out to me, man, from watching your highlight video was just your athleticism, just kind of with your speed and everything, with the way you can run, but then sometimes with the way you stepped up in the pocket as well. It's how quick you stepped up and then were able to kind of saw it and took off. That's the type of stuff that really stood out to me. Okay, now my suggestions for your highlight video are the following. The first thing is to add an information slide at the beginning, all right? And the best way to go about doing this is to go on Canva, okay? This is free. You'll go on there, you go to one of their slides, and on that slide, you're going to put the information of your name, school, graduation year, position, height and weight, exit count, email, and phone number, okay? Put that information on the left, picture of you on the right, download that, and then upload that the very first thing on your video, okay? Now, the reason we want to do that, okay, is so boom, as soon as the coach pulls up your film, all the information he needs is right there. How he can follow you on X, how he can, the email he needs to send you a questionnaire, how then he can get in contact with you via phone number, okay? They need all that information because their time is very short and valuable, and if they have to go try to find that information, they might pass on you, okay? Personally, I've had to do that before, okay? They watch 60 to 100 kids in a day, all right? And excuse me, and when they've got to go find that information, it really kind of throws things off for them, and they just don't have the time to do that, okay? Next, removing play / non-highlights, and this is more anything that doesn't showcase your strength or transfer the next level as much, okay? And the biggest thing for you, the only clips, is just your 7-on-7 clips, okay? Those are the only ones that we need to take out, all right? Because, and the reason being is because coaches want game film, okay? Like when guys have had scrimmages on there, or jamborees, or individual drills, or 7-on-7. We tell them to take all that stuff out, okay? Because, like I said, they just want game film, okay? The most current year game film. That's what they're looking for, all right? So, not that they want bad plays at all, okay? But that's just what they want at the game film side, okay? Next, remove the background sound, okay? Because we don't want to have anything that's going to distract that college recruiter from evaluating your film. Like I said, they're watching 60 to 100 kids in a day, okay? They're sitting in a dark room, lamp on, listening to their own music, and they get in a zone. Kind of like you when you're playing. You're in a zone, okay? And sometimes if our film pops up and we've got music, captions, or background sound on or something like that, that's going to cause a distraction to them, and we don't want them to evaluate your film differently or halfway through evaluate your film differently compared to somebody else, okay? So that's going to be really beneficial for you to take that out, all right? Next, make sure you add spot shadows, okay, like a circle or an arrow, just point to where you're at, all right? Just for the coach, and it just kind of cleans things up and just kind of, yes, they know you're a quarterback, but they don't know if it's ever a trick play or anything like that, so make sure we do that, okay? Next, looking at your sequence of plays, okay? And this is how the film is really going to flow more than anything else, okay? We kind of got it broken down into sections, all right? You have your long TDs, your short TDs, all right? So anything 25 and in, okay? And then your explosives, so anything 15 to 20 plus yards down the field. Your movements, all right, which is kind of stepping up in the pocket. You had some of those, scrambling, rolling out throws, that type of deal, okay? And then your remaining offensive highlights, which is more not necessarily an explosion play, okay, but still a good play that showcases what you can do. And so that's what that's kind of how those work out. But within those sections, okay, we want to set everything up with pass plays, then the run plays, okay? And we want to put our best plays first within those sections, okay? So on here, all right, kind of show you what we've got going on here, all right? So at the 53-second mark, see if we can get this going here, all right, boom, okay? Good explosive, or excuse me, long touchdown run, all right? So boom, this is what I'd start out with, showing off some of that speed, be able to pull away a little bit, okay? But like I said, for future-wise, if you ever say you've got another rushing touchdown, but then you've got a passing touchdown, put the passing touchdown first. We're a quarterback, we can put the passing one first, okay? And then your short touchdowns, and then your explosives, okay? So going back up to the 11-second mark here, okay? Anything 15, 20 plus yards down the field, boom. Good ball there, right between the corner there, all right? That's what they're trying to aim for, all right? It's a fantastic job there, okay? And now there's your passing one, so we'll go to the 41-second mark here, all right? And then you have this rushing one as well, all right? So boom, this is where we're kind of doing that pass to run. So now if you've got some other passing ones on there, put those ones and then put your rushing ones, okay? You want to put your best plays first and then taper from there with your pass, and then the same thing with your rush, all right? That's what we're kind of looking for there. Now, go to the 33-second mark, okay? We'll back up here just a hair a little bit more, boom, okay? So here's that scramble out, boom, having to throw to your left, boom, good ball, all right? That's the thing we're looking for right there, okay? We're not necessarily 15 yards down the field, but still movement, showing what we can do. You got pressure in the face, boom, getting rid of it, getting our hips around, okay? Now, your very first play, here's what really kind of stood out too, like I talked about, all right? Boom, getting out, stepping up, okay? Fantastic job, stepping up, being able to step out of the pocket and go from there, okay? Make that decision, pull the trigger, and go be able to extend the play, all right? And then your remaining offensive highlights, okay, at the 19-second mark here, all right? So, same thing. All right, boom. great ball, little skinny post right there, okay? We're not quite 15 yards, okay, but it's still a 10, 12-yard pass down the field on the money, on a rope type deal. That's the things we're looking for right there, all right? So add that information slide at the beginning, okay? Remove your 7-on-7 clips. Make sure we don't have any scrimmage stuff or anything like that in there as well. Remove the background sound, add your spot shadows, and change up your sequence to kind of how we talked about. And don't worry necessarily on the length, okay? I've had guys have good 1, 2, 3-minute highlight videos, okay? And when you get older, the max your highlight video needs to be is 5 minutes. Okay, so you're fine with where you're at, all right? And then, but doing all this overall will provide a more dynamic highlight video for college coaches. Okay, now after going over the game film feedback, let's take a look at what divisions you should target. Okay, I'm basing this off the most recent highlight video, which is exactly what college coaches are going to do, and where the athlete can receive a scholarship right now. Okay, based on a few criteria. All right, first thing is their graduation year. Knowing we've got a few years, okay, use this to your advantage more than anything else. Okay, use this to your advantage. Know what we have to improve upon. Know what these college coaches are going to look at and how we need to attack our recruiting. Okay, but then for a quarterback standpoint, they're also going to look at your size, your mobility, your accuracy, and your arm strength. Okay, now I also want you to understand this is a current evaluation off the film we just watched. Okay, opposed to projected evaluation. All right, and that's where that criteria kind of comes into play. And with that being said, the levels you should look at today for a scholarship are D3 and NAI. Now, you probably won't start getting interest from these college coaches yet at these levels due to your graduation year. Okay, and it's the same thing with what the levels we've got chosen. Okay, but that does not mean you can't start the communication process with these coaches through emailing them and calling them. Okay, you need to make sure you're marketing and branding yourself in the correct way, but then you also need to make sure you're getting your name out there through social media and DMing these coaches and following these coaches on X. Being an underclassman, okay, this is going to be very important for you with your marketing on social media. Okay, making sure we're putting the right stuff out there. That's where you put those 7-on-7 clips on X. Okay, your individual drills, you're doing stuff like that. Your visibility and your outreach on X is going to be very important. Okay, to keep getting your name out there, being an underclassman quarterback, because that's when things will keep happening. The more you keep pushing. All right. But here's the deal too. We have summer camps starting up. Okay, prospect camps. You need to be at them. Okay, that's going to help get you exposure as well. Get your visibility out there. But also make sure we're going to ones that aren't necessarily, don't go to the mega camps, because you're going to go there as an underclassman. They stick you in the back of the groups, okay, to where nobody really watches as much. And then there's also 1,000 different kids there. And as a college coach, personally, it's hard to get a true evaluation on really what you want to see in kids because you're trying to watch so many. Okay, but if sometimes you go to these smaller grouped, like where there's maybe just a handful of schools or a one-on-one camp, okay, A, it's going to make it easier to introduce yourself to that coach. B, you can kind of develop a relationship a little bit more. And C, they can kind of really get you a true evaluation more as well. They can say, hey, I want you to throw this post route during one-on-ones. I want you to throw this. I want you to throw that. They kind of get you more into, like, they're actually coaching you. Okay, and so that's where that side really kind of comes into play and helps out. All right, and now you can target these levels we're talking about and keep working your way up. All right, that's really just to get you exposure and just to kind of get that visibility stuff going. All right. But here's the deal. Eventually, when you send in that midseason highlight, they're going to have that relationship with you because of those relationships in camps and communication. They're going to know who they're watching. But how can we also attack these levels and get better? That's the question. Because my suggestion to improve your game that translates to college football and possibly a higher division are the following. First thing is accuracy. All right, doing this by working on catch and throw drills. Okay, it's going to simulating throwing bubbles, fast screens, and quick game. All right, working on your drops, starting from the ground up. Is it the feet all right? Everything else got a good chance. Okay, everything being smooth, being fluid. Don't have a hitch in that drop, and then from the drop to the throw. Okay, mechanic throws. When you're just throwing, aim small, miss small. Because college football, those windows get smaller, the defenders get faster. And this is the big one. A lot of guys sometimes pass up on is film study. Learn to lead the receivers open at all three levels by knowing where the windows will be based on the defense you're getting and the concepts you're running. Okay. Next is your arm strength. This is really going to help out being an underclassman as well. Keep developing this. It's going to come through your core and your leg strength, though. Okay, and that's a good way to do this is through squats and exercises that deal with explosion for that power. Quick twitch stuff, single leg stuff. Okay, because it's going to help give you more zip on the ball to account for faster players. All right, footwork drills, shuffle and weave between and over backs, figure it with cones, gap pressure simulation, having to step up. Okay, don't take off. Boom. Can we step up? Step up. Internal time clock is gone. Boom. We got to get out of there. Okay. Make sure when you're doing these, though, you have a good base. Okay, and a football in hand. And this is going to help your mobility and pocket awareness. Okay, which is going to help translate to the college level. Because college coaches are looking for quarterbacks who are mobile in football today, but then also when something breaks down, they can extend that play. All right, ball security. Okay, keeping that thing high and tight. You can practice this while you're doing your footwork drills or sprints. If you can't protect the football, your chance playing is going to go down. All right. Then lastly is flexibility. Pre and post training stretching. Okay. If you guys don't do this as a team, that's part of that individual work you got to put in. This is going to help prevent injury, and your best ability is your availability. Okay. If you and here's the deal too. If you're dinged up and nicked up over these next few years, okay, that's going to hurt your chance of video, which will then hurt your chance of an offer. If you're dinged up and nicked up, all right, in college that hurts you on the depth chart. So you got to make sure you're taking care of your body. But here's the deal too. Being a former quarterback myself, I understand you have to take care of your arm. Okay, you've got to take care of your arm. It's good for how much you're going to be throwing and everything else through all these camps, all the times when you're doing quarterback stuff, we're doing 7-on-7 stuff, and everything else. Because when you get to college, it's just going to be just as much throwing, if not more. Okay, so you've got to make sure you're taking care of your arm. I mean, that's how we play football. All right, so you got to make sure you're doing that. But these improvements are what a quarterback college coach will look at. So double down, do all these things, hit it hard, and if it translates to your video, this can help you level up your evaluation and possibly have an opportunity at that D2 level. But Jayden, at the end of the day, man, everything's really going to come down to your individual work, your outreach, as well as your marketing on social media, which we talked about how important that's going to be for you being an underclassman. Okay, but then also that relationship building with college coaches, which is why the next step is your athlete interview. We're going to get an interview with the coach and get coached on your communication and your interviewing skills, which is critical for the conversations you're about to start having with college coaches. So make sure you watch the video beforehand, be ready to go. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer them at the end of the interview. Thank you. Thank you.